Well,
We're live, pal.
You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Morning.
Hey, how
good
you
morning,
doing?
Rachel.
Welcome to Social Intercourse.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Can I
first
just
off,
say I'm really glad that you got the name right? Can I just say
right.
Hey, first of all, it was a
Because some people,
typo on my sheet.
The typo on
So
your sheet. Well, I wanted to go over. I wanted to tell Stephen and teach Stephen
yes.
what social intercourse actually means.
here
So,
we go, Steve.
Oh my God. Okay, I have a pen. I'm gonna take notes.
but
Let's discuss social intercourse.
I think David has a good little blurb to
Blurb.
show. Or AI has a good blurb to show us what social intercourse means. So it's typically refers to exchanges of ideas, information, cultural norms. It's basically communicating and interacting with people, getting to know someone and their
Oh,
experiences, and just connecting to the world around us.
right. So we
So
would call that a dialogue, though.
it is. It's a
Okay,
dialogue.
there you go.
It's basically communication.
So
Communication
basic.
with others.
So what you're saying isn't what I thought the show was about. So I apologize, but my promo was, I thought, very good. David corrected me during the promo, so
I mean, I laughed. I
I
did.
will see. Can I tell you, most of the girls that I have that with laugh too. I always say, "Are you going to hate yourself in the morning?" They go, "No, I hate myself now." So I totally understand that. So we're
I
good.
laughed.
Yes.
Going for, I mean, and we may talk, in social intercourse, we will talk about every topic. So we will talk
Ooh.
about sex. We will talk about
Oh, my favorite topic.
religion,
Religion.
politics, a great topic for people. That could go on forever.
We get
But
sex, politics, and
anything,
religion.
I've got, a lot of experiences in my own life that I was like, I'll use myself as a topic. Like I've had plastic surgery. Let's talk about plastic
No,
surgery.
you're
Uh,
not.
Oh,
You're not
wow.
really Asian.
I'm not. This is just the facade. This is
See, I
not.
knew it. I told you. Told you,
So what
David.
does so, Rachel? What does that actually entail? Because I mean, we see a lot of I see a lot of it around me. A lot of girls have like the lips all pouted and stuff, but some of it
Mhm.
goes right, and some of it
Well,
looks like
that's
you know.
more a cosmetic enhancement procedure.
Right.
I mean, is it considered plastic surgery? I don't think so. Because
Okay.
Botox and little
Right.
injections here and there. That's just little things. But actually cutting into, like, I've had my eyes done. They're getting a little droopy now. I might have to re-up. But I had them done when I was 17, 18, 17.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to South Korea to get it done. So
So
that's a whole process, a whole topic, a whole show to talk about that.
so
So
wait a
what?
minute. You'll have to
Could I
wait
ask?
before wait before we go. I have to ask this question. So when you let's say you had your eyes done
Yeah.
in like a quick sentence, and I know this is a whole show, but what does that mean? Because people watching this aren't
Well,
going to understand why you had to have your
yeah.
eyes done.
I mean, you can have a few things done. Like
Thank you,
I want
Stephen.
to
I
get
was going
my
to
eyes
ask
done again.
exactly that because I mean, why would you want to do it?
Right.
How
So
did you do it, and why did you want to do
here's,
it?
like I said, this is a whole nother show, but we'll touch upon it real quick.
Okay.
Did I want to get it done? No, not when I was 17.
Right.
Did my mom say you have to get it done?
Asian mother. So,
And this is a graduation gift. I was like,
right.
sure, a gift that I don't want. But I went. I was going to Korea for a study abroad program, anyways, like a lot of kids, Korean kids do, that live in the States and all over the world. And yeah, I had it done because that's just the thing that they did. Like, your parents just say, get it done.
Mhm.
Okay. Most kids
Right.
wanted it done, I guess. And what it was is I had I guess they call it a monolid. So I didn't have the crease or the fold in my eye.
Ah,
And so they sent me to go get the crease and the fold in my eye. And I remember the doctor, he also wanted to do a few other things. I was like, no, no, don't touch my nose. Don't do anything else. And for me, it was quite painful. The whole procedure, the process, everything was just painful. But there was other reasons for why it was painful because I was vegan and I was bleeding, and bleeding causes a lot of pain because I was awake for the surgery.
That's crazy. There's a new thing called anesthesia. You should
Well,
use it.
they gave me anesthesia.
Rachel, can I ask you, was it emotionally painful as well as being physically painful? Because you're very expressive and you said it was like really painful, but it almost
Yeah.
seems that it wasn't just the physical side of it which affected you.
I didn't really think about it. Like at 17, I said, no, I don't want it done. They're like, yes, you're gonna get it done. So it's like, okay, fine. Um,
But is
but
that because of your own personal circumstances, or is that a cultural thing?
it was a
Because you
cultural thing, I think. And
why? Can you explain it? I don't understand. I'm too old. I don't
there's that
understand that.
whole thing where, what is beauty?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
why we're Asians, and this is great actually, because it's AAPI month, and let's talk about growing up and people making fun of Asians for having slanty eyes.
Right.
And so what do? Let's get rid of the slanty eyes. Let's try to fit in. Let's try to make it so that people don't make fun of us. But also, it wasn't really that. It was also, what is beauty? Oh, beauty is Western beauty. Beauty is big eyes, pale skin. Let's try to get big eyes and pale skin. So,
But I have to tell you something. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because if you will, I don't think there's a look like, Rubenesque. A friend of mine's wife is a little Zoftic, and she said, "What do you think?" I go, "If your husband loves you, that's all that matters." And she says, "But I'm chunky." I go, "No, you're Zoftic." And I said, "There's a difference." And she chuckled, and I said, "But you're Rubenesque." I said, "So in the 15th century, you're the hottest thing on the planet." She goes, "But now people think I'm just fat." But you're not. You're just a little overweight.
50 said it could be in the 1950s, 1960s. Look at body shapes then.
Yeah.
They're
So,
nothing
but I
like
think
they are
beauty's in
now.
it because
Marilyn Monroe was kind of
Zoftic.
full figured and soft. She
Yeah.
didn't have a six pack. She wasn't firm.
Yeah.
She was like the iconic beauty. So
Yes.
and even till now, people are like, yes, Marilyn Monroe, beauty.
Yeah. I think beauty is what Madison Avenue, if you will, shoves down our throat, and that you're stupid enough to believe. And
Do you think that the body issue for young girls that things maybe as subtle as the Barbie dolls that came out, that had a real influence on how young girls felt that they should look?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there's even before social media.
Right. I mean, Barbie's proportions are not even real proportions.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not
we
even
know why. We know why. Obviously, because you've got the long legs, so the little girl can hold on to it. We see the. Yeah, I mean, it's a doll. I mean, so you'd hold on to the legs, and and you'd have the body shape at the top. But whether or not that practicality of making a doll which a small child could hold, whether or not they knew the ramifications of that about body image, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, sure, you can hold the legs, but did Barbie's waist have to be so tiny? Did Barbie have to have big boobs? Was all Barbies blonde growing up? Yeah, most of them are all blonde that I remember.
Yep. Pretty much.
But there's now a new Barbie, isn't there, with down? Have you seen that? The Barbie that has down.
Oh, see, now I know Barbie. They've become more inclusive.
Stephen's looking as if I'm making this up. I saw this a couple of days ago.
I read there was an article in the Financial Times or the Economist that talked about the new Barbie. There's a trans, and there's a Ken thing, and there's a this one, and then went through this whole list of whatever. And I'm like, I remember as a kid, we used to play with our G.I. Joe dolls, and they were anatomically not correct. And so growing up as a guy, you were just like, I don't get it. And same with the girls, and you would just play with your little GI Joe stuff, and that was it. So yes, now they're making them or trying to make them more politically correct with Barbie's beach house and Barbie's Corvette and Barbie's this and Barbie's that, and we're trying to make everybody inclusive now. So go figure.
Yeah.
Barbie still has a beach house in Corvette. Where's Barbie's regular house?
Barbie, Barbie, just for people that don't get it, Barbie is a sugar baby. Her sugar daddy bought her beach house, and her sugar daddy bought her the Corvette. And what we're seeing young girls is, listen, go get a university degree at MIT, but just in case that doesn't work out, there's a backup plan. You can be
But
Barbie.
it actually, I think didn't Mattel come out and say that Barbie is actually, there's like professional lines of Barbie now?
I think so. There's like nurses and
Barbie went to
doctors or whatever,
college. Barbie made her own money. Barbie did her own, stuff.
What's
Her
funny?
own house.
I think Barbie can be whatever you want. And I think that's what's really funny about it. It's like they're so worried because of the woke society today about we have to make Barbie this and we have to. It's a doll. Relax. Like if someone came out today with a pet rock, would we have to say, this is a male pet rock, a female pet rock, an LGBTQ? Like enough. It's a pet rock. In fact, the other day I was driving and I saw a mega pickup truck, and I'm talking a mega pickup truck like with 47 wheels in the back, one of these big dualies, and it said it identified as a Prius. And I laughed my butt off because that's how far now we're taking what you identify with. I identify myself as a human being.
Growing up, you had a car, right?
Yeah, I bought a car, yes.
Did you ever name your car?
No, it was just a 1972 Buick LeSabre,
David,
and I got it when I was 16.
Car?
Sorry?
Did you ever name your car?
No, I always referred to it as she.
Is that just a me thing?
No, my mom named my mom used to call her car Sally.
Is it a female thing? Because
I
don't think so.
We named our cars.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your car today? What's its name?
My car today is Marsha.
Okay, so why Marsha, the Brady Bunch. So why do you, and if guys, you can write your comments below, why do you name your car?
I don't know why I started naming my car, but I've always named my car because I guess it's something that's I'm in a lot.
All right.
I wanted to, whenever I talk about my car instead of my car, or it's like, well, let's make my car a little more important. let's name my car. So whenever I reference my car,
right,
I name
you know what I'm going to say now, Rachel? I'm going to say, do you, as a good mother to your car, have you had the lights changed?
The lights
adjusted?
changed?
Have they had plastic surgery on the lights?
No, I'm not a mother to my car. My car is my friend. So my friend has to tell me when they need stuff done. So it's good because it'll blink saying service time. So I will go and get it serviced. Now I have to change the filter on my own because I like changing the filters, air conditioning filters on my own. A lot of like wiper blades I'll change on my own because it's like, why pay for something that I can do?
Why go to BMW or wherever and have them charge you $1 million? But here's what's really funny. Now I have friends that have supercars. And you would think if you're going to name a car, that's what you're going to name, like Conan Sachs, Paganis, whatever. And I'm like, and when we talk, it's just like, the Pagani, this, the, no one's like, the guys I know, no one has named their car. So, but my mom, I know my mom named hers. She would call it Sally. And I'd be like, seriously? She's like, yeah, we're going to go take Sally for a ride. I'm like, okay, it sounds wrong on many levels, but sure. Yours is Marsha. So that's an interesting thing. Is it just women or I've never met a guy that's
but
named
I
his
also
car.
named a lot of my tech or my equipment or appliances I have named.
Okay, see, I don't do my laptop when I'm mad at it, it's just POS. And I won't say what that means. But and then we have a verbal argument and it wins and then I fix it. So no, I've never named anything. I don't go like this is, Ralph. I've never done that. That's a very interesting thing.
Yeah,
is that because it's easier to remember which particular object you're talking to? Is the reference for yourself only for yourself? The people around you refer to your car as Marsha. Hey, Rachel, we're going to get into Marsha and go to the mall and stuff.
I guess it's more for me.
Okay.
I mean, so my ex used to name or call all my my car by the name because I always refer to my car by its name.
Right.
Um, and
So he played into your psychosis. Good. I like it.
and like I
So,
had a laptop named Shallot, so he would refer to my laptop as Shallot as well.
okay.
Um, and yeah, I always got a feeling like, is it going to be a female name? Is it going to be a male name? Or is it going to be a non-gender name? And I would just get a feeling like, I think my car wants to be female. Now, every time I get a new car, I'm like, are you female or male?
But see, in
Yeah.
Or are
France,
you just a
everything
non-gender
in
car?
in France, everything would be LA. Like my Buick LeSabre was LeSabre, like LA
Mhm.
LeSabre. So it's female. It's all female because it's an inanimate object. I took French, so I remember. That's the only thing I remember actually. And I also remember how to get slapped. But anyway, but yeah, so it would be like your car would be
But
like
this is
instead of
same
LE, it'd be
same
LA,
as
la car,
boats.
female.
Boats
Boats
are
are
always
female. Well, boat's
female.
different. You
Oh,
name your
boats.
boat. Your boat,
I
like
think
if
boats.
you have a vessel or a yacht, you're going to name it. That's a different thing because that's just a tradition.
Yeah, but
But
I would refer to the car as a she, as well. Yeah, I don't.
the
But
yacht too
I
is
would
a
say
she.
So every time I get a new car, so far all my cars have told me female name.
I want to go back to your cars talking to you. So I think one of the shows is going to be you with a psychologist. But anyway,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So tell
I
us.
think it's a Rachel Parks telepathic show. I think it's the one we're going to.
No, and I'm very into feelings and energy, and like my cars, I'm in my car a lot. I've always been in my car a lot because
Right.
I used to be a behaviorist and I had to go see clients, and I was in LA, so I'm in my car all the time. I was eating in my car.
Okay.
I was on. Anytime I had a chance to connect with anyone, it was always in my car, calling them between drives.
Right.
So, my car became like my best friend. So it's like, okay,
Well, here, let me ask you.
let me.
Here's a question for you then. You are female, just for the viewers or the people listening on the podcast that don't know that. But do your other girlfriends, do they name their cars, or are they like get in the car? Where you're going to be like getting Marsha, which sounds wrong on many levels. So next time I see them, they're like, I want to get Marsha, where is she? Just because I'm that kind of guy. But are you the
I
only
don't
one?
refer to my car's name as much to people anymore.
Oh, okay.
I didn't name Marsha this time. I allowed my ex-boyfriend's child to name Marsha.
Okay.
Just doesn't feel right to me, but I'm not going to change her name.
Gotcha.
It was actually Marshmallow. It was
Oh.
too long of a name, so I was like, okay, I'll just be Marsha.
But see, now Marshmallow, I like much better than Marsha. If you said we're going to get into the Marshmallow, I would smile. If you say we're going to get into Marsha, I'm going to first look at you like, is that legal? And then if you're like, it's my car, I'll be like, oh, okay. But if you say we're getting into the Marshmallow, then
You're thinking everything into like a sexual
No. My wife says this. I have a friend of mine, and he says, don't ever ask me how to make a hamburger. He says, because Steven just can't tell you turn on a stove. What he's going to tell you is first we have to go to the cow. And then from the cow. So I take everything very, very literal before I get to whatever. So
indeed.
Yeah. So
Stephen,
getting into
you
Marsha,
are a literal thinker. You are a literal thinker,
but getting into Marsha to me, I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, what? But if you say I'm getting into Marshmallow, I'm going to chuckle because I'm like, all right, this is going to be good. And it's going to be the car. So it's not so much sexual. It's just words are words. And I just take the words for what they are.
Like I said, I didn't really refer to my car's name as much to my friends. It's more like just between me and my car.
Gotcha.
Like after I've had a long drive or something and I see the gas is low, I'm like, Marsha, are you hungry? It's time to feed you.
Okay.
Or if something breaks down, I'm like, Marsha, no.
That'll do it. Okay.
We've come a little bit off topic. Well, it was probably me. I started off with Barbie, and then we went off to Corvettes.
And that's whatever. Also me. I also have ADHD, so it's like my brain.
Yeah.
We'll forget.
Well, you were actually talking about plastic surgery. Well, that's where we came in today. And but is this sounds slightly racist when I say it, but is this a very much an Asian thing then? That I mean, why?
Naming your car?
No. He's on plastic surgery now.
Yeah, I think I've missed out on a piece of this conversation, but
no,
but
because
okay.
how many people in the U.S. get plastic surgery? They're just
But are
different
you-
Yeah, I
parts
mean,
of the body.
Right.
for me, I'm sorry, maybe it's an age thing, and no doubt it is. But I always think to myself, well, I'm on the inside looking out. It's all you poor unfortunate people who have to look at me. I get to look at myself twice a day. When I clean my teeth in the morning before I go to bed and
That's
shave in
twice too
between.
many.
But
Anyway, so,
yeah, so
no, but
You know,
so what do you think's pushing this forward then? Is it the fact that the young people themselves, young women in particular, have body issues, or their parents have body
but
issues
but
on their
wait, but
behalf?
this is a much bigger question, and because it's not Asian, white, black, purple, green, plastic surgery. So it's society saying X, Y, and Z. I think part of it. The other thing is that sorry, kill that phone. The other thing is that when I lived in Dallas, one of the girls that worked for us, when she told us she was like 21 and she was our intern, and she said, when I turned 18, my dad gave me a choice. I was like, what's your choice? He goes, I got big boobs or a car. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, so in Dallas, when you're 18 and you come from money, that's the choice your parents give you. It's boobs or a car. And I guess some get both. So plastic surgery, like I have a friend of mine who's a male, and he got like this done. I've had friends of mine that got like my mom was, I think, 70 and she had plastic surgery, and I laughed, and she died when she was 97. So, that was fine. But I was just like, really? And I don't, people want to change themselves, and I'm not sure why they're changing themselves. I
so,
understand Asian in the eyes
well, it's
sometimes.
all for different reasons. Everyone
Right.
has their own reasons.
Well, so look at Joan Rivers, though. She's had 900 surgeries, and the last one killed her. So there's got to be a point where, like, you got to be happy with yourself. You can't keep
Yeah, I mean,
going under the knife and going under the knife and going under the knife. I think I don't.
we sat and watched the thing about this, Lionel Richie yesterday, and you think to myself, what is that? It doesn't even look like him. He's
Right.
just changed so much. And who else I saw the other day, who I really like, I really admire as a presenter, and I think she does, Ruby Wax. She's a very, very funny lady. Also, been under the knife again. That's fine, but it just doesn't look right. And
Well, the good thing is Rachel looks perfect, so we're good.
Well,
So
see, that's what I thought before my eye surgery too. I was like, I'm perfect.
Right. Well, we only
yeah.
know you this way, so we think
But,
you're perfect the way you are.
one thing that after my eye surgery, I was so amazed by the world around me. I did not realize people could not see their eyelashes.
Oh,
I lived most of my life through my eyelashes because I have very straight, long eyelashes growing up, but they always pointed down.
right.
And they were always constantly, and I was constantly rubbing my eyes. I was always having eye issues, always had migraines. And then after the surgery, I thought they burned my eyelashes off. I was like, oh my gosh, what did you do to my eyelashes? And they're like, they're there. They're where they're supposed to be. And they told me that something about the way my eyelashes grow, they were growing straight down. And it was, so even if I didn't get plastic surgery, it would have been medically, they said, recommended. And surprised nobody recommended it before. So I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So now I can say I got plastic surgery done because it was medically necessary. Okay.
But see, then that's a different getting plastic surgery because it's medically necessary than getting plastic surgery because you're 109 years old and you want to look like you're.
But I didn't
40.
know that it was medically necessary. And after I got it done, because I was resistant to it, but after I got it done and after it settled, it took probably like a year because I look like I had a nickname after my surgery. They called me Nolan Toki, which is like surprise bunny, because I had this like surprise look constantly.
I'm sorry for laughing.
No, it was funny. I think I named
It's a lovely
myself
name.
that. I think I
lovely
named
name.
myself that, and so then my mom and my family started calling me that because I was like, I look like a surprise bunny. But once it settled, I was like, oh wow, okay. Thanks, Mom, for forcing me to do it. I look
But can I
different.
be
From
can I be
makeup.
rude, Rachel, and ask you? Is that the last time you went under the knife, or have you
For
had stuff
cosmetic
done
reasons,
since?
yes. I've been under the knife many times for medical issues.
Yeah.
But cosmetically, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Would I go under the knife again? I want to. I want to get things done because I don't feel like myself as I'm getting older.
Oh my
And that's the
God.
thing. Am I trying to change everything? No. Do I want to do a little here and there? Yeah. Am I going to? Probably not, because I have issues with anesthesia.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And just if I'm going to go under the knife, it has to be a medical reason. And
Right.
even then, it's a little like with the anesthesia. So
So do you get sick from it, or what's the issue you have with it?
each time I go under the knife and I'm waking up from anesthesia, it gets harder and harder for me.
To wake up, or to
Yeah.
throw, or you throw up?
The after effects.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. Depending on how long the surgery is. Like I just had a colonoscopy recently, and
Right.
did they give me anesthesia? Yeah, they gave me, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the good stuff.
Yeah.
And I woke
Yeah.
up like drooling, like, oh my gosh, did I just sleep really well? But it was really fast. They said it was like 30 minutes. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
that's
just had surgery a couple weeks ago, and they put me out, and like I woke up, and they give you your little cookie and some juice, and she's like, "All right, you can go," and I'm like, "Great." I'm just like, like I have no clue, but yeah. So
yeah.
no, but that's if you wake up and the drooling's okay, but if you're
No,
waking up and not feeling good, that's
no.
not
So
a good thing.
before that, I was hospitalized
Right.
because I was having such issues from the anesthesia.
Oh wow, that's not good.
Yeah, so I had to
Yeah,
stay in the
because I
hospital.
mean, basically, you're just poisoning your body, aren't you? And it's the same. The reason, if you have a car accident, for instance, most deaths are caused by the fact of constantly being put under anesthesia, because every time that they put you under, they have to give you a different mix. They can't keep giving you the same mix, and then eventually you just end up poisoning your body in such a way that it doesn't recover. So,
Right.
although they can, they're pretty good patching you all up, etc. Your body doesn't survive the shock, of continuously, being put to sleep as such.
Because I'm 5'1" and shrinking, and it's I'm just not shrinking, and a lot of my surgeries were 3 hours and over. So
Oh
the
wow.
longer you're under anesthesia, the harder it will be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That's all right.
yeah.
My mom at her peak was 5'6", and when she passed away, she was 5 foot. So, and I used to come back from like
Oh no, am
not
I gonna
seeing
be
her.
like 4? No,
You'll be like,
my mom's 4'9" now, I think. So
yeah.
no,
So
4'10".
I remember when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh, you come up to here, and I'd give her hugs, and then I'm a Jewish son, right? So you had to call every day. So I'd talk to her every single day and whatever, and then I'd be away for like 3 or 4 years traveling and doing, and I'd come and see her. I'd go to give her a hug. I'm like, where'd you go? And every time I would come back, I'd be like, where'd you go? And I said, pretty soon you're going to be like 2 feet tall. I won't even be able to find you. So yeah. So as you get older, you shrink, I guess. So
Well, you do, and I'm trying to
yeah.
manifest myself to be taller in my
7'3".
next life.
Okay.
So,
This is going to be an interesting show. So I was well. So here's a thing we talked about in one of the shows. It's called The Gateway. It's a CIA report from 1983, which talks about the absolute, which is the beginning, and where all consciousness and energy goes when you die and when you're born and whatever. So basically, you're trying to manifest yourself through the absolute. So when you come back, you'll be taller.
yeah, I mean, so when I manifest, I also talk to God. I'm like, God, in my next life,
So now here's a question.
to make
David
me
knows where I'm
taller.
going. So which God are we talking to? Because depends on where your history starts and ends, because there's either many gods, one God, or several gods, which was a show we did yesterday.
So, and
Well,
again,
so
future
people can
topic.
listen to the future topics. Rachel, can I ask you then? You're you were born in Korea, South Korea, I think. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Are you an average height for your countrymen, country
I don't think
people,
so.
persons,
Country people.
No,
country
I
living?
don't think so. Plus, I was born in Korea, but I came here at 8 months old.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
grew up on American food, on
That's why.
American cows. That's what I drank. No, I think I am still shorter than most Korean girls. I think the average height is like 5'3", 5'4".
Oh, well, you're not
Okay.
that much shorter. Then you're 5'1". It's an inch or two.
Yeah. Well, I was 5'1 1/4" growing up.
Okay,
You know?
sorry.
So actually growing up, in school, in elementary school, they line you up if you have to go somewhere,
Right,
and
right.
they line you up by height. I used to be in the higher end. And then somewhere in like 4th or 5th grade, everyone started growing and I stopped. So I was like 5'1" pretty much early on and stayed 5'1".
Okay.
But yeah, I'm trying to think, like my Korean friends, like out here, they're taller. They're like 5'5", 5'6".
Are they Korean or American Korean?
No, they're Korean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Interesting.
that's not fair.
Going back to the
And-
title of the show, then the social intercourse. Do you find that people approach you in a different way because of your height, or do you look at the
definitely.
world? You look at the world in a different way. Do you feel that it's a tall world you live in, or the world cheats you in some way because you're petite?
So when I go grocery shopping, people are like, "Why are you putting on heels?" Because I can't reach a lot of the things on top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of the healthy things are on top,
Right.
or like super on the bottom. They put things like in eyesight that are like not healthy.
Yeah,
So
they do here as well.
I will wear my highest heels usually to go grocery shopping, so that I can grab things. Or if I'm running in, I will be climbing shelves to grab things. I've asked many people around me, "Excuse me, can you grab that for me?"
Right.
It's and people are helpful. They're like, "Oh, sure," and they might kind of give a little giggle because they look at me. They're like, "Oh, you're so
Right.
tiny," and it's like, yeah, thanks, just grab it. So could they? Yeah, that's like my world. Everything is like, okay, before I go somewhere, what am I going to wear? What shoes am I going to wear? Am I going to be able to, like, when I go to concerts, I have to wear my biggest boots so I can see things. When I get jobs when I was younger, do they treat me differently because they think, oh, she's just so adorable, little girl? It's like, no, I'm in my 30s. Don't treat me like a little girl.
Yeah, but see, a lot of women would kill for that. A lot of women would want to be your age and still look like you're in your 20s, or some girls in their
Yeah.
20s look like they're your age.
Well, no,
So-
you could be tall and still look like you're in your 20s.
No, I understand that. You're talking about height. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, I've met you in person, so I know what you are. You're adorable in person. I don't really look at you as a 40-year-old. I don't look at you as a 20-year-old. I just think, it's Rachel. She's adorable. She's a human being. We're done. I don't really look at that. And you know what I mean? It's the perception I have is like, oh, she's adorable, nice person. Boom, done. That's it. I do joke with you about your height. That's about it, right?
Yeah.
But
So
I have friends that are taller than I, and I joke with them, and it's just, I think that's that camaraderie. It's like, oh, we're just goofing on each other, right?
is.
It's not meant as
it
anything.
is.
But I can
But
understand when
there
you
are
go shopping.
times when you're shorter, when you're a petite person, do people rest their elbows on your head as a?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm just like, no, I'm not your armrest. Don't do that.
But that does give me now a good idea to hire 2 midgets next time I smoke a cigar and a scotch, because now it's perfect. So there we go. Thank you for that. I'm gonna make a note.
See, if you hire them, they're willing and they're getting paid.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not willing. Nobody asked me for permission. They just use me.
There you go.
It's funny because I'm in a relationship with a lady who's probably Steven's
Wait,
height.
whoa! You're in a relationship with a lady? This is, I have to write this down. This
I
is
know.
news.
I know. That's hold the press.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I just refer to myself as being the Smurf, really, because, and I do like I am a bit partial to a bit of chocolate, and the next.
Wait, David, how tall are you? And can try to do it in inches so I don't have to convert.
All right, okay. Well, I'm actually 5'8".
Okay.
But Annette is probably your height. She's probably
6'1". Okay.
Yeah. So, which means that everything that I'm not supposed to eat, because I'm kind of
David is
keeping
a
on my
short
waistline.
king to her. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Everything gets put onto the top shelf, and
Ah,
then
nice.
and then we have which I refer to as being the little naughty step. So I have to, or the guilt step. So I have to get that
Right.
out to stand on it to get the stuff from the top shelves.
That's
And
awesome.
in quite reverse to you, Rachel, when she goes, because she's very conscious of her height as well.
Mhm.
Although by Dutch standards, she's not that much taller than most
Right.
people. But for a lady, she's quite tall.
Mhm.
And she's got really long legs. But so when we go to the supermarket, it's always people saying, "Oh, could you just reach over there and get that for me?" Because they
Yeah.
can't get it down.
Right.
So yeah, it's so that person that you would call upon. So yeah, height, being petite or being, let's say, lamppost
Lanky.
length, as you sometimes, lanky lamppost length, as it's referred to sometimes here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also, that doesn't help either.
You know, in
So
opposite
what's
ends,
not?
yeah, there's always.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
where does it leave? Where does it leave this myriad of women then? What's the ideal height? What's the ideal waist size? What's the ideal bust size?
You know what? And that's the
Crazy.
thing. What is ideal? Now,
There's no.
as I
Yeah.
gotten older, I'm like, what's ideal? I
Yep.
have embraced my height. Now, if someone wants to make fun of me, I'd be like, listen, I could still beat you up if you want me to. But
But I
yeah,
don't understand why anybody would want to be rude to you in regards to
it's
your
not
height.
about
You're
rudeness.
just
It's more.
People, David, it's people joke. So if it's your friend joking with you,
Mhm.
Rachel's not really probably going to go beat them up because then she has to go work at Hilda's House of Pain. So it's people
no. I
joking.
appreciate that, Steve.
It's
But
people riffing. But
But
society, when you talk
again,
about what's the
yeah,
perfect
but you
person
see,
look like,
the thing is, right? I mean, a joke to
right?
you and I may be offensive
Yeah.
to somebody else.
right.
Right.
And
So
so,
sometimes your friends might joke and you'll laugh along
Right.
yeah,
because do you
but
want to
it's not
cause
funny.
tension?
Ah,
Do
okay.
you
Yeah.
want to, it's like growing up Asian American. A lot of the times I would just go along with things because it's like,
Right.
am I going to let me just fit in and not start? And like,
Yeah.
there's the Asian girl starting controversy.
Right.
Feisty little thing there. Like, I've been called
But
a feisty little girl.
But here's what's really interesting. I think my generation, we're a little different. Not that I'm that much older than Rachel, but David's way older than all of us. Anyway, but what I think the thing is, like I have a friend named Bill, and when I first met him, I go, "Oh, Bill." He goes, "No, I like to be called William," and so I call him William. So I
Mhm.
think if you set the ground rules at the very beginning, nobody's offended by it. Now, if I know you 10 years and I joke with whatever I joke with you about, right? Like you have a bow you have in your hair, and I've been joking for 10 years, and then one day go, I really don't like that. I'm like, when did you not like it? Day one? And maybe like, too bad, it's 10 years, right? You're like,
Mhm.
so I think if someone says something you don't like when you first meet them, you'd be like, hey, I don't like X. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good with that. Like, at least I know then how to approach X, Y, and Z. And I think that's the problem, society days, like everyone's trying to play politically correct and woke, which we both know I am not. Hence the promo I did. But if someone says something to me, I do take that in the back of my mind for the next time I have to have a
Mhm.
dialogue with them. Now in business, there is you can't be offended. I'm sorry.
Right.
Personal is different. Businesses, put your big boy pants on or big girl pants
But
on,
in business,
and you just
people be making comments about your physical appearance.
No, in business, what I get now is we had a call, and I've told the story with a group. And one of our people, they said, what happened? They said something. They said, one of your employees acted like a frat boy. And the CEO was like, I'm insulted that you would say that. And I said, I'm insulted that you're violating my person's First Amendment rights. And they said,
Mhm.
put your big boy pants on. You're a CEO. You ask them to describe something, and they are. So that's what I get annoyed with. And he's like, well, I was like, dude, you're messing with the wrong guy because
Mhm.
I really don't give a flying, you know what. And people are like, I said, I'm still old school. I am not politically correct. I barely want to be nice to anybody. I said, so do you understand who you're talking to? And he's like, I'm like, good. Now we go forward. So it's a very different mentality because everybody, I want to say under maybe it's 40, maybe it's 50, is offended by everything. And I find people that don't come from the Northeast, mostly New York or New Jersey, especially New Jersey, they're not offended by anything. Like we are just so used to verbally jousting since you come out of the womb.
Mhm.
You're verbally jousting and living in a melting pot with different races and colors and creeds. And
So
listen, we knew about sexuality back in the 60s before
it's
any of you
interesting
had
you
a clue.
say that Because
Yeah.
I grew up, I was always like, I'm Gen X.
Right.
I'm actually a Zennial.
I thought you were Rachel. But
I'm a Rachel Gen. And, I grew up with the banter, with the making,
Right.
and we just don't care about anything. It's like, whatever.
Right.
Nothing really bothers us.
Right.
But as I get older, I realize things did bother us. We were just taught to like, whatever, deal with it.
But see,
But
it
it's a
really
two-way
didn't,
street, isn't it?
but
That's the
it really
thing.
didn't bother us though,
But
because
maybe
my
not
friends,
you, who is a tall white man.
no.
Who is a
Yeah.
tall white boy.
I also have friends that are Black. I have friends that are Asian, male and female, Black, male and female Asian, the Puerto Ricans. I have friends all over. We all grew up together, and it didn't bother any of us because we all knew at the end of the day, it was funny. The joke was we could all pick on each other in our 2-block radius. But if you went 2 blocks over and someone picked on you, now we have to kill you, right? Because now you're not part of the family. And I think because we grew up with that mentality, it's like, this is someone who kids, you don't know what love is, but they love me. We're going to pick on each other. It's okay. And it's okay to pick on each other and verbally joust. I think what happens is I think today society, people are just brought up that everything should offend them and hurt their feelings. In fact, my stepson came home and said to me, our teacher taught us sticks and stones will break my bones and names will hurt me. I'm like, this teacher's a friggin', you know what? It's like, no, names won't hurt you. You got to put your big boy and girl pants on at some point, right? Because people are always not going to be nice to you. People are going to say stuff and it's okay. They're going to say it's just words. Now, if I'm at a mall and you call me a nasty name, I'm okay with that. If you're at a mall, call me a nasty name and pull out an RA-15, I have a problem with that, right? So it's just a word. You don't have to fight people like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, the dumbest thing in the world. You're just showing it's okay if someone says something like that you can kill or hit them. What happened 2 weeks later? David Chappelle, guy jumps on stage, tries to stab him. What happens? Kids are doing enough with this. It's like,
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
With Will Smith doing that, first of all, what generation is he?
Yeah, he's your
He's
age,
older.
actually. He's like your age, isn't he?
But he showing violence again is not the way. That's bad.
Correct.
And I think what it is, like social injustices, that's when people get offended.
Right.
It's not, is it more for myself? No. Like growing up, did I get offended more for myself? No. I just again, I didn't care as much, but I was also sensitive for other things. If I heard someone making fun of someone else, I'm like, well, that's not cool. You shouldn't do that unless, are they okay with that? And they're like, you're so sensitive. That's what they say to me. They're like, you're so sensitive.
But no,
I don't
I
think
agree.
it's being sensitive at all.
It's just being a human being.
It's one of the problems, and I think what we're trying to allude to.
Younger generation is. It's more they're being offended for others.
No, I just think they're a bunch of pansies, actually. I don't think their parents raised them. I think their parents are pansies as well. And I think that's the problem, is that they don't have a clue of what verbal jousting is. Like if they saw the Marx Brothers today, they'd be offended by everything Groucho Marx did. If they saw Blazing Saddles today, they'd be offended everything Blazing Saddles did. I know, because you're young. If they saw Abbott and Costello, they'd be offended by that. If they saw Sophie Tucker, if they saw Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, they wouldn't get it because they're offended by everything. So like when my stepson says, I'm like, dude, get over it. And he looks at me like, what are you offended by? And he go, well, I don't care what your teacher said. What are you personally? Nothing. I'm like, then you're fine. Relax. Like these teachers, they're offended by everything. It's granted, it goes to a private school, so no one's shooting and stabbing each other, like whatever. But at the end of the day, we have to start teaching our children to be young ladies, young men. And another thing with this transgender LGBTQ MOUSE society, enough. When you're 18, perfect. You don't get to get sexually changed until you want to, if you're a boy and you want to dress in a dress, I'm okay. I'm okay. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with it because that's what you think. But if you're like 18 or 21 and you've had an experience of life, you need to then change your sexuality. That's okay. If you're 16 or you're 12 and you need to come out of the closet, great. You want to go in the closet? Great. Don't care. Like, I'll support you, but let's enough with all this other stuff. Like the governor of Florida, who's an idiot. Like, he can't say gay in school. Listen, people are gay. Got it. at the end of the day, if you're 12 years old, you don't know if you're gay or not, because you'll talk to these kids that were gay at 12 and they're married now for 40 years with the same woman, and so I think there comes a point where you have to let the kids experiment and grow up. And at some point, then if you go, listen, I am X, great. I've worked with 3 or 4 trans people. In fact, one girl went from a girl to a man, and she was taking all the hormone drugs. And she said to me, my new name is going to be X. And I knew her too long as a girl. And I go, can I use the first initial? She said, yes, till you can get used to it.
Wait,
and so one place was the flip. Yeah.
Are they female now or are they male?
They went from female to male.
Okay.
And they took the hormone drugs to get the hair and whatever. And then I worked, when I was in the Bay Area, I had a gentleman that was a cross-dresser, and then he was going from male to female. And I was like, okay, if that's your thing, I'm okay with it. Like the first time I met him,
this is where I would say, again, you misgendered them.
I didn't miss anything. They were the ones who told me what they were. Right?
But I'm saying, now that you said female turned male, they're male now, but you referred to them as she.
Well, she was a she, and she became a he.
But now they are he.
Listen, I need to tell you this. At the end of the day, they're still human beings, and I don't care if they got a yang or they don't have a yang. It is what it is.
But this is what I'm saying. I want to respect someone if they're saying I want to change my name. Like I changed my name at 19. Okay. And if people started still refer to me as my old name, I'd be like, no, that's not my name. I'm not going to respond to you. So give me the respect and call me by the name that I want to be called by.
Now the girl that went, or the guy that went to be a girl, I only met her, if you will, as, I forget, I'll call her Sally because I can't remember her name, but I only met her as Sally, right? So the girl that became a guy, I knew her too long as a her. So in my mind, it took a while for me. It's like, you can trans, you can do whatever. I don't know. You have to take there's a period of transition where you have to be able to be like, okay. So
as
like
long
I
as
said,
you try. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, and I did.
I think you have to be respectful, and when people are in that period, because they know that they're struggling with themselves. People are being rude to them because they are referred to them continuously.
And I get what you're saying. When you're young, you can say there's a lot of experimentation going on, and I think as parents, you let them experiment, but you don't let them make any drastic changes because our brains are still developing. But you don't restrict them from trying to be who they are. Or
no. You have to. That's the only way you grow as a person. You have to try. You have to do. But like if I had a 15 or 16-year-old that goes, I'm going to get an operation and change my sex, I'd be like, no, I'm going to beat you until your attitude changes. No, I'm just kidding. I'd be like, no, that's not going to happen. You have to wait till you're like 25, 26. And if you still feel that way, it's okay.
They make you have to go through a lot of psychological tests.
Oh, no, I know. It's a whole thing. But some of these parents, like when this first started, they're all like, Johnny wants to be a girl or Sally wants to be a boy. And they're giving them, I'm like, dude, your kid's 12 years old. You got to stop.
But I think a lot of
the thing is today, we're going to have to stop as well, I think, today as well, guys, because it sounds very much like we've got another 2 or 3 shows. I mean, the next one has to be about.
That's what I would like this. Going forward, the shows are going to be just, let's drink some tea and let's just chat.
Scotch.
Let's get to know each other. Let's get to know what your opinions are. Nobody's opinion is the wrong opinion.
So we'll see you all next time. Remember, comment below, subscribe and like the channel, and we will try to bring you the best. And tell Rachel what ideas. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you.
Bye, guys.